Well, first off, welcome Theia tribe.
Disgusting.
Theia tribe, you guys have done really well. You've all made the merge. So congratulations on that. Obviously, we've had 3 people come back into the game. So Brian, not only did you come back into the game, you've also won individual immunity. Uh, so tell me about it. How is the high that keeps on going, or do you feel like it's going to crash back down soon?
Oh, who knows when it'll crash? It will crash eventually, but no, I got a little lucky. Got immunity. It's great to feel safe for the first one. You never know what happens in a merge tribal. But yeah, I'm glad to make it through to at least one more round, and we'll see what happens after tonight for sure.
If you hadn't won, do you think it'd be you potentially leaving tonight?
Oh, I know it'd be me. I know I'd be the first one out if I hadn't won, which is fine. I said from the start, once I was in the anomaly, if I can make it out of the anomaly back into the game and be on the jury to help decide a winner, that'll feel like a win because I already won, one phase of this game. So if my time is short-lived in here, I'll still be enjoying the ride for the rest of the time on the jury. But
Yeah.
at least that's not tonight.
So Mike, Brian kind of thrown out there, hey, it probably would have been me going. Is there really that kind of sense of, yeah, he's in the game, but people seem like they want him out?
Oh yeah, no, I want him out. And had he not won, I would have pushed very hard for him to go. I heard just stories about him being in the anomaly and kind of not treating people the right way. And honestly, like this place is supposed to be a safe place for all of us. It's a community where we're all supposed to have fun. You can, leave mad, leave angry, leave upset, lie to people, blindside people, but you shouldn't make people feel uncomfortable. You shouldn't make people feel like they don't belong. And from what I heard, that's what he did, and I don't appreciate that. And
not true, but I'm not going to say what you heard or what you didn't hear. I know what happened in the anomaly. There's 3 people here who do. I wasn't making people feel unwelcome. We were playing a game in there.
And again, I'm just saying what I heard. I was out here. I didn't get voted out, so I only have the perspective of the people that came back.
All right.
All right. So Bailey, you also returned from the anomaly. Brian is safe. So do you feel like, hey, if it's not him, it could be me tonight then?
Oh, 100%. It was very like the idea of having a revolving door and getting the anomaly people out have been here before we even arrived. Like these people didn't get voted out. And so I could see how they think it's unfair that we're coming back into the game and like making their spot lower in rankings for like who gets evicted. So there's definitely threats on us. So it's hard to like try to be able to like find a way to survive because it just like that initial target is already so big and on you, like it's hard to get off your back.
Yeah. So just a reminder for everyone, or maybe this is the first time, if you're a tribal council and you want to talk to anyone, you must ask if you could talk to anybody. So raise your hand and be like, hey, I want to whisper to someone, and then you can message them privately. Because we've had crazy travels where it's just silent and everyone's messaging each other. And this at least makes it a little more lifelike. So just throwing that out there since everyone is here now. So Kyle, same kind of question. Bailey and you are the only 2 people that have returned from Nolly that are vulnerable tonight. So how do you make sure it's not you?
You do what you can to talk to people. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I can't coming in before I had talked to anyone. Like, if I was in their position, I would have like said immediately, like, hey, these are people who don't have connections. They've been out of the game for a long time. This is our first vote. Is like, there's 14 of us. Like, I wouldn't blame anyone for suggesting us like getting votes. It's easy, and that usually happens for like a couple rounds after a merge, especially when there's this many people. So I mean, I wasn't shocked to hear it, but I mean, there's 3 of us. Like, I don't have to be the one that gets votes. I know Brian can't get votes tonight, but like I feel like I've talked to enough people, and I feel like I'm probably okay tonight.
All right. Dave, so for the first time in Cutthroat history, we have a Time Lord, which is you. So just to catch everything up to speed. So basically there's 2 urns tonight. Everyone has to vote in the first urn and the second urn, A and B. Then they can't vote for the same person in both urns. But then the Time Lord, aka you, gets to choose which urn we read. After we read the votes, you can choose to continue, and whatever the result is, or you can say, no, reverse time, we're reading the other urn, and that one will stick. So this is a big responsibility. So talk me through, like, what have people talked about with you over the last few days regarding this?
I mean, I feel like even before this twist, before we knew who was Time Lord in this game, the conversation I'd been having were like, okay, this twist can get really scary and really confusing, but the way to make it less confusing is to treat it like it's one urn and don't even think about the other urn. And like, I have an expectation of what the urn I'm picking is going to be. And I feel like the point in this game when people are pivoting and going like, I want to change the timeline or whatever, and alternate reality, different urn will come about at some point. But I feel like nobody wants to have to think about 2 votes every tribal and wrap their head around what that means for, blind sides and all what to do with idols and all that nonsense. So I think like, I feel like the way I've taken on the responsibility has been very straightforward, and like, this is the urn I'm opening. This is what I think is happening, and hopefully we don't have to go through time and get nauseous with whatever comes from branching off to a new timeline.
Bloody noses, I think.
Yeah.
So Devin, Dave says, hey, just going to keep it straight. This is what I'm doing. Do you know what urn is being read? And do you think everyone's going to follow the same? Hey, let's play around the twist, not play with the twist.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you're at 14 people and you hear so many things from the start to the finish, but then by the end of it, it's like a calm before the storm. So for me, at least, I'm trusting what I was told about the Time Lord twist right here, and I'm trusting what I was also told when it comes to what other people are going to do. So, I mean, I think for me, I'm just trying to play around it, but Dave certainly made it a little bit easier by saying, hey, like, let's just do the one urn. So I don't know if other people are going to be as gracious later on in the game, but you got to focus on tonight.
So Eric, what does this vote come down to then? Is it prior relationships, or is it, hey, whatever the easiest vote is?
I think this vote definitely comes down to, sorry if I seem distracted, my dog just walked in, she was trying to get into the room. But I think this vote, just comes down to, who you can trust, and just information that you've heard throughout the course of the day. I mean, I know I've heard things that have been happening throughout the day, and it makes me nervous, but all I can do is I have control over one thing, and that's my vote. And just kind of doing whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm safe. And but yeah, everything comes down to this point. We're here at the merge.
Well, in this case, it's votes with an S. But
votes. There you go. Double the power.
You said you feel nervous, so have you heard your name?
I have.
Okay. And do you think that is an actual danger potentially?
When are we voting? 5-10 minutes? I'll tell you after that.
So David, here we have 14 people still. It's the first vote with the merge. But this is All-Stars. Do you think people say, hey, let's play it safe? Or, hey, we're in All-Stars, let's make moves right from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could only really speak for myself and what I'm hearing. I'm the type of person who, like, I kind of don't want to ruffle any feathers too early. I think, there's 14 people left, and it's just, to me, it's a little too early to do something like crazy. So that's kind of where I'm at. I can't really speak for the other 13 people though. So,
right. So Brian, you've been a pro at this, and by that I mean you've been at Tribal Council a lot this season. So does it get any easier, or is it now that there's more people, it's hard to kind of navigate?
It's basically routine for me. It's challenge tribal, challenge tribal, challenge tribal. It's definitely different than it was in the pre-merge, obviously, because we're now in a tribe of 14 and we just spent most of our time on small tribes. So it's a little easier to get a read on a 5 or 6 person tribe than it is to get a read on a 14 person tribe. So it's definitely, I think, harder to exactly see the dynamics of the tribe now.
So Megs, talks of advantages and idols. I mean, there's a time turner idol that was put out there. Is there any idea if anyone has any idols and what we might see come out?
Yeah, there's definitely speculation. Like I have my idol right here. It expires this round. So I don't want to make it dramatic or anything. I'm just playing it on myself. So I don't want anyone to get concerned that anything funny is going on. But I mean, it's definitely part of the game. Like you hope that your like social game and people you talk to and your relationships and connections are going to get you through without those. But it's also important to, work with the mechanics of the game and like know what's happening and be able to still navigate through it despite the twists and turns that you throw at us.
So everybody knows you have an idol, I guess, since you're.
Yeah. I mean, it was spread in the anomaly land. The rumor was that it expires next tribal council, but it's this one. So that's why I'm just going to let you know that I'm using it. But yeah, everybody knows. I didn't want to blindside one of my best friends last time. And so like, I just let it be known that like I had it and we just, now everybody knows and it's no secret and it's no danger. So that's what it is.
Yeah. So Spencer, you've also just survived a 4-person tribe with Megs and Mike and Brian. Do you think that puts you at a disadvantage, or have there been plenty of pre-game relationships and earlier in this game relationships where the last tribe doesn't really matter?
Not a whole lot of pre-game relationships. This it's definitely a really, really good thing that this merge, like this, first round of the merge lasted quite a bit longer than a typical round. Even though it was during the, sorry, I'm burping right now, but even though it was, during the week, and like, I know myself among, many others here, like have to work during the day and there's not a ton of time to like really connect with people. Like I just found it like tough to make the time necessary to like reconnect with people that I had like interacted with previously in the game, like keep in touch with the people that I was just with, and then also like just connect for the first time with so many people that I hadn't played with yet or interacted with at all yet in the game. So, I mean, that's really like where I think the biggest like factor of it all comes down to. Like we started off in 2 different like planets of one world with 16 people, and it feels like we're basically back there again, except now instead of going to tribe with like 8, 7, 6 people, you're going to tribe with 14, and like that makes it so much more difficult to like try to keep track of what's going on and staying in the know. And maybe like you have plans to keep up with people that you just aren't able to like keep up with and say, hey, I'll check in with you later. And then like one thing leads to another, and it's 30 minutes before tribal council and you haven't like checked back in with this person. So I don't think like I'm the only one who's falling victim to that. I just think like it's the circumstance of the game, and I just have to hope that like people understand.
Yeah. So Jules, are you there for a question?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I'm just on my
Okay.
phone.
Yeah. So obviously you guys were just split into tribes and you guys really didn't go to tribal much last time. Do you think not having tested loyalties or knowing where people really stand in a group like that helps you or hurts you?
I mean, it could go either way, right? Like last season and last time I played, I was with Mike and Megs, and our last swap tribe won out. Or actually, I was with Mitchell too, all 3 of them. And our last swap tribe won out every single challenge before the merge, but we were the tribe that stuck together, and those tribe lines still stuck, even though we were never really tested in a vote. But this time around, who's to say that it actually matters one way or the other? I mean, I haven't been to tribal in the last couple of rounds, but I've been to a lot of tribals and a lot more than some other people have been to. So who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows? So Mitchell, how does having to put 2 different votes together change the game?
Well, there has to be 2 people that you're okay with going in the case that something happens. I think a lot of people feel that there's something easy, and then there's potentially something more interesting to do. And I think everyone here would be lying if they said they didn't consider what it would take to make a move tonight. I think like you don't hear 8 names the day of tribal if people aren't considering what it might take to make a move. The problem with this tribe is that no one knows how to keep their damn mouth shut. so the free flow of information is happening. And I think like it makes deciding, like you hear, oh, like this person who you thought was cool with you wants to like, kind of not help you in the game, or this person that you thought you were cool with is, potentially targeting you. Or you hear rumors about yourself that you're targeting somebody else, and it's like there's so much information passing through. It's really hard to decide ultimately where those votes should go because you don't know. You don't know who's actually being truthful. You don't know who's actually being loyal. And I guess we're going to receive a lot of information tonight, depending on what happens.
Yeah, you said all this information goes around and people are talking about moves. Does all this information going around stop moves from happening, or do you expect that, hey, a move might get pulled off tonight?
I think it's the potential for both. Like I'm typically the type of person that like if I hear my name is implicated in a rumor or in someone's targeting me, I go right to that person and I'm like, hey, like stop. Like please just please stop, or like, let's not do this, because if your name is out there, you run the risk of it becoming a you versus somebody else situation, and then you're both out. And so it's it's hard to know when is that time and when is the time to just like back off a little bit and come to an agreement with people and make it through the round.
Yeah. So Andrew, how do you trust the information you hear? Like, do you trust any of it at all, or is it just a lot of false information going around?
I mean, I guess it depends on the source. I feel like the people that you work with, the people that you feel good with, hopefully you trust them, they trust you. But of course, somebody that you haven't spoken with, you have to build trust in a game. You don't just get it right away. So I think definitely trust is like making sure like that's how you can like trust with somebody will like lead to trusting the information that kind of goes between people. And then sometimes just like if people have a similar agenda to things, maybe you don't trust somebody, but you think that they tell you something that, it makes sense. It's all about, I think, judgment. I feel like we all like got chosen to play an all-star season for a reason. I feel like everybody is like good at judging what is like bullshit and what's like real. So hopefully, that's my answer.
A quick show of hands. Raise your hand if you feel like it could easily be me tonight. Not just like I'm a little paranoid, but like there's a chance it's me. A lot of people, except for Andrew, I don't see a hand. You can pretend. And Dave seems okay. Brian feels confident with a Y. So just a reminder, you cannot vote for Brian tonight also. So David, at right before the merge, you have won a special immunity necklace that you could choose to play now, or you can hold it for the next time. Do you know what your decision is?
Yeah, I think I do. But it's still, in your head, like, what's the best move? You still doubt yourself. But I think I know what I'm going to do.
All right. Well, does anyone have anything they want to say or immunity necklaces they want to play before we get to the vote? All right, then. It is time to get to the vote. David will hold it.
Oh, I was supposed to decide that now? I mean, I'm going to hold it, but I thought it was after.
No, before the votes.
Okay, well, I'm still.
Okay. All right. Well, you cannot vote for Brian. Everyone else, even the Time Lord Dave, is fair game. Sorry, Dave. C-Mac, bring us to the voting booth. All right. First of all, again, thank you all for coming back and playing. It's been fun. Craziest game we've had so far. Biggest tribal council we've ever had. Most votes I've ever had to write with 28. So with that being said, before we get to any advantages, Dave, do you want idle A or earn A or earn B to be read first?
All right, so I've got my coin here that I'm gonna flip to. No, I'll do earn A.
All right, so we got earn A. Now, before I read the votes, if anyone has any idols or advantages that you want to play, now would be the time to do so.
I'm just playing my expiring idol on myself, please.
All right, so we have this. We have an idol. This is a valid idol. Megs will be immune at Tribal Council. Even if we go to earn B, that will hold true. Does anyone else want to play an idol or advantage?
Hi, Merle.
Spencer.
I have watched a lot of friends go home in the pre-merge phase, and I don't love that. So I know that if I could turn back time, I might do things differently. So I would like to play the time turning idol on Bailey, please.
All right, this is the time turning idol. Any votes cast against Bailey will not count. And if we go to the second urn, Spencer can reallocate this idol to somebody else. Does anybody else have any idols or advantages?
I have a question.
Yes, Jules.
Is the time turning idol the merge idol?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, then once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out might be asked to leave Tribal Council immediately if Dave chooses not to switch arms. Let's get to the votes. First vote. Bailey does not count. Next vote. Bailey does not count. Next vote. Bailey does not count. Next vote. Bailey does not count. Fifth vote. Bailey does not count. Next vote. Bailey does not count. That is 2, 4, 6 votes Bailey, none of them count. Next vote. Bailey does not count. Next vote. Bailey does not count. That leaves 6 votes left. Next vote. Bailey does not count. 5 votes remain. Next vote. Brian. 1 vote, Brian. Next vote. Brian. That's 2 votes, Brian, 3 votes left. Next vote. And the first person voted out of the merge, Brian. However, Dave. That is enough votes, Brian. Dave has an opportunity to rewind time and go to this urn if he so chooses.
I mean, I told people that I was going to stick to this urn. I don't know what's going on in that second urn, so I'm going to stick to this urn here.
All right. With that, Brian, you have just been voted out of the game and are the first member of the jury. Brian, the tribe, or at least some of them, have spoken. Do you have any final words?
Well, I definitely was not expecting this, so good job, I guess. Spencer, I don't know why you did that. I think that's really stupid of you. I wasn't after you. I don't know what your plan is or who the 4 people you voted with, but I don't think that was smart. I guess we'll see. I'll be on the jury. No hard feelings. Those of you who had my back, you know who you are, and I'll be rooting for you guys. So yeah, good luck, guys.
Well, Brian, thank you for coming back. You are definitely one of the most fun and entertaining players we've ever had, and we are very glad that you came back. Fortunately, not long enough, but thank you for coming back and playing, and we love you. So we'll see you on the jury. You could keep coming to these tribals. See ya, Brian. So
This was like low-key a bad tribal council to be off camera for. Oh my god.
So these urn votes will never be read. Brian has been voted out, which, despite Bailey receiving 9 of the 14 votes, you know, some people talked about there's moves to be made. Someone made a move. Now what?